Today I have with me Director with AIDS Research and Assistance Institute, Wendy Selvig. Wendy, are you with us today?
Hi, Daniel. It's so good to be here.
Yes, Wendy. Well, you're over in Colorado Springs. I'm down in Costa Rica. I think we have two paradigms in weather right now.
Yeah, well, I have about 2 feet of snow out my door.
Oh, my goodness. Well, we're suffering over here with 75 degrees and lots of calm weather. So
that must be rough.
One good thing that I'm excited about today is that we have some very good weathered news for people who are suffering in this day and age. And
Yes.
I'm glad to have you with us. As some may know already, there has been a scientific breakthrough in the naturopathic community that is turning the world upside down. Wendy, can you tell us just a little bit about what's happening?
Well, yes. We have been involved for several years now with this natural extract that comes out of the shell of flaxseed. It's such a simple little thing. You know, people have been consuming flax for thousands of years. I mean, back in Pharaoh's day, they ate flax. I mean, flax has known for its health benefits. But amazingly, at least in the last 100 years, people have been throwing the shell away and eating the seed because the seed provides so many health benefits, but they've thrown the shell away. And what we found is that inside this little shell is this powerful immune-boosting substance that is we're seeing all kinds of results. We're seeing stage 4 cancers just disappear. We're seeing diabetes and things from athletes, but I mean little things but you know, just a lot of amazing results from people taking this extract, and we think it's all just because it's making their immune system so strong. Their immune systems are taking over whatever sickness that they're dealing with.
You know, it's we're living in a day where the immune system is so taxed, and so many people's immune systems are so destroyed just because of the dirty air we're breathing, the dirty water we're drinking, the foods, the pesticides, chemicals, toxins, poisons, everything bombards us repeatedly all day, every day. And many are wondering, well, why is cancer on the rise, diabetes on the rise? Why are our bodies failing, yet we're moving so forward in our advancement of medical and scientific understanding, but we're not living any longer? And so you're saying that there is an immune problem that this all-natural flax concentrate is combating, giving people a brand new immune system?
Well, that's what it seems to be. We've done several trials now, and I'll tell you more about those later. But in those trials, the trials that we did have included at least 300 people, and what happened is in their blood tests, we could see that their CD4 counts, which if you don't know what that means, it's the measurement of the immune system in your blood system. Their CD4 counts all the time, they just raise, and they get higher and higher. So it is scientifically, I guess, proven. We're showing that it's raising the immune system stronger and higher and healthier, and then in turn, the immune system's kicking whatever disease or sickness or whatever these people are dealing with.
Yes, our bodies are so fearfully and wonderfully made by God. He gave Adam a bulletproof immune system in the Garden of Eden, and it wasn't until he was removed from that garden that his immune system began failing and death entered into the world. Well, Wendy, I know that we've got great news today for people who know people who are struggling with cancer, diabetes, lupus, like you said, athlete's foot, all kinds of skin problems. It just goes on and on again. We've got great news for them, but I think we need to go back and let's just start the story out from the beginning of AIDS research and assistance. You want to tell people about how this whole thing started? Because the story is really miraculous and amazing in itself.
Yeah, absolutely. AIDS Research and Assistance Institute actually started out of need because the founders of this organization were really more involved in feeding. So we would go and take truckloads of food into third world nations and feed children. And what we kept finding is that we'd always find the children with AIDS. And so you talk to the people, the locals, and, well, what can be done for them? What can we do for them? And their answer always was nothing. You just make them comfortable. There's nothing we can do. And you get tired of that over time. You're over and over and over, you see these beautiful children, and you know they're dying. And so that just really, that wasn't the answer, to make them comfortable. And so we just started seeking, there's got to be something, maybe let's think out of the box if we can. And really kind of started even seeking God and just saying, what, if there's anything in this world that will help these kids, lead us to it. And through just this kind of divine intervention, we met a naturopathic doctor who knew this amazing farmer in North Dakota. And this farmer, he had been, he knew about that power of the flaxseed shell, but nobody really knew how to get that little particle out, because, you know, even if you grind your own flax, it'll go bad in a couple days. There's extraction issues with that. And he said he was driving along his combine, and the Lord gave him, he knew it was from the Lord, he gave him the idea exactly how to do it. He built the machine, he did it, and then he sent his samples in to the University of North Dakota. And those scientists, called him, showed up at his house and said, what have you done? We've been trying to do this for 25 years. I mean, what have you done?
Yes, and if I remember, Wendy, the medical science had been saying to the world for 25 years that there's something special inside the hull or the shell of the flaxseed, and if someone could just figure out how to extract it, that it would renovate the human body if we could get that extraction into the human being. And so
right.
25 years they'd been waiting and trying and failing, and here comes this farmer who gets this idea from God, as he says, and he puts his whole life savings into this machine and turns the machine on, and it starts cranking out what we now call flax hull lignans. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Flax hull, Hull, lignans. And he, because he knew this doctor who knew us, and the doctor knew that we were looking for people, an answer for people with AIDS, and he knew the farmer was looking for people to test this product. He connected us together, and we agreed on doing some trials. And we just came together in that relationship, and we started doing trials on people who were sick, but with all kinds of illnesses, which led us to our very last trial, which was 100% people with HIV and AIDS.
Now, I remember the story of the first two trials with 100 people in each trial, and these people all had issues, whether it was cancer, breast cancer, prostate cancer, skin cancer, diabetics, all kinds of different situations. Some of them just didn't feel good. Some had AIDS, some had HIV positive, but no AIDS symptoms yet. And so there was a full cross-section of people in each of these 100 people tests that were done in the U.S., right?
That's correct. The first two tests were done in the United States, and we did, each round had 100 people each. And actually, Karen Parker, I think you may have some video that you could play. We could listen to her testimony. Karen was one of the people in that first round, and she was on her deathbed when we found her. She actually was in hospice, and it was her last weeks. And if I remember right, the nurse was just pouring some into her mouth every day, a little bit. And she had such a dramatic change in her life that we had to relook at it and say, okay, this is maybe worth the funding to go over to Africa and do it.
Now, Karen is one of the poster child people for AIDS research and assistance. And I'm going to play this here in just a moment, but her viral load with AIDS, HIV, her HIV viral load had gone to 313,000. Now, that's dead. I believe that when they hit 100,000 viral load, the doctors put you on every ARV, everything they've got to try to combat it and knock it back down. Well, she was at 313,000. The ARVs were not working for her anymore. She was at death's doorstep. Now listen to this testimony.
My name is Karen Parker, and I was diagnosed about 18 years ago with being HIV positive. At the very beginning, I was bedridden. I couldn't dress myself. I didn't eat. I had no strength and energy. My daughter bathed me and dressed me and took care of me. My viral load was, it was just off the charts, immeasurable. And yeah, there was just no hope for me. As I said, I was hospice. I was on my deathbed. Like I said, I started taking the Flax, and it just brought me up, and I've been going strong ever since. And I'm just so thankful. Today, my counts are, I am HIV, it's undetectable if they do a blood test. My T cells are up over 800. I'm maintaining my weight. I have strength, and I'm healthy, and I'm whole. And really, the doctors don't even treat me for my HIV anymore. I just go and do my checkup, and they send me on my way. I do recommend that anyone who is watching this to take the Flax Lignans. They gave me strength, stamina. It built up my immune system. I no longer have to worry about colds and being sick, and it has just made me healthy and whole, and I do recommend anyone to take it every day on a daily basis.
Well, there it was. That girl was at death's doorstep, and Wendy, I met her about 3 weeks after she had started taking the Flax. My understanding was she was in hospice care on a bed, unable to even sit up, and this nurse started pouring these Flax Lignans in her mouth. 3 weeks later, I met her, and I didn't know any of her story, but she came out to volunteer to help us unload a semi-truckload of food for the needy. And she was so skinny and frail looking, but she had this glow on her face, and she wanted to get up and go do something. And I just couldn't believe it. This girl's a miracle, a modern-day miracle.
Well, yep. Yep, that's Karen, all right. And we love to tell her story. That was the first of many stories. And at first you wonder, well, I wonder if this is just a fluke, if it's going to be just her or whatever. And now, as being on staff at ARAI, I see the testimonials come across my desk all the time. And now she's just one of many, many stories just like it. And so it's exciting, and that's why we want to tell everybody about really what's going on with Flaxful Lignans.
Wendy, we had seen, I've got a list here of some of these testimonials that are in front of us. And can you tell me from the first 2 groups that were tested and all of the people that just keep coming in, do you have any of your, let's say, most favorite testimonials on different things that have happened to people, whether it was cancer or whatever?
Oh gosh, I have to narrow it down.
Yeah.
I think my favorite ones are the cancer, just because cancer is so prevalent today, and so many people are so fearful of it. If they hear that they've got cancer, of course, the doctors, they try to give hope, but a lot of times they don't give any hope. And people, they hear they have stage 3 or stage 4 cancer, they think it's over with. And so probably some of my favorite testimonials have to do with cancer. I know personally that there's been 3, not too recent past, there's been 3 brain cancer testimonials we've had. One of them is a friend of mine in Colorado Springs who is a mom. She's in her 30s, and she was told she had this brain tumor. It was going to continue to grow, and she was only given a couple of years to live, and she started the Flax Lignans, and immediately the tumors just stopped growing, and the doctors were like, wow, just really amazed. There was a man who actually, the farmer we had talked about, the very first person he ever kind of tried the Flax Lignans on was a friend who called him. Do you remember the story, Dan? he called him and he was saying goodbye because he had stage 4 brain cancer.
Yes, if I remember correctly, Curtis had just outputted the first Lignans. The North Dakota University was jumping up and down saying, "What have you done?" He gets a phone call from an old high school friend who says, "Listen, I've been diagnosed with stage 4 brain cancer. I was sent home by Mayo Clinic to get my affairs in order, so I wanted to just call and say it's been great being friends with you." And Curtis said, "What? What?" So anyway, Curtis said, "Are you open to anything new?" And the gentleman said, "Well, they've given up on me. I'm finished." So he said, "I'm going to rush you some of this brown powder. It's good tasting. It's considered called Flax Lignans, and I want you to start taking it." So the guy said, "I'll do it." He rushed it to him. 10 days later, the guy calls him and he says, what have you done to me? What is this? He said, "I'm feeling things rumbling around in my head." And he said, "It doesn't hurt, but I feel it. Things are moving inside my head." And Curtis said, "Well, if you can, just keep taking it." So 30 days went by, and Curtis had not heard back from this gentleman. So he gave him a call, and the phone just rang and rang and rang. And Curtis said that he really felt bad. He thought, oh no. And all of a sudden, the guy answers the phone. He's all out of breath. And Curtis said, "Oh, I'm glad you answered." And the guy said, "Well, I just shut my lawnmower off, and I heard the phone ring, and so I came in." He said, "I am feeling so good that I went out to mow my lawn. I'm cleaning my yard up. I have new energy that I haven't had in years." And so Curtis was excited about it. He said, "Just keep taking the Flax." Well, another 30 days went by. The guy called and he said, "Mayo Clinic has just pronounced me cancer-free from all brain cancer." And so that was Curtis's first understanding of the power of this all-natural flax lignin. And that's when I believe he started looking for someone who would help him test this product.
Yep.
So, Wendy, we have gotten this far. We did 2 rounds of testing. I know that breast cancers disappearing. There was one testimony in that first where there was a grapefruit-sized breast cancer, I believe, that went down to the size of a marble in 90 days. The prostate cancer is what really has my attention because I have a personal friend whom the doctors said, "We're going to operate. You're going to wear a diaper, radiation pellets, chemotherapy. You're in deep trouble." And he said, "Oh, no." And so he called, and I believe AIDS Research sent him some flax lignans to try, and in like 90 days, his PSA levels were back to normal, and the doctor said, "Whatever you're doing, just keep doing it because you're fine. There's no more need for anything else." And I know this gentleman personally. He's in Phoenix, Arizona, and I was thrilled to find out that his life was preserved, and he was kept from going under the knife with those flax lignans.
Yeah, actually, I would love to share a little clip from an article I have in front of me. Breast and prostate cancer are 2 of the ones that really respond well to the flax lignans, and we see testimonies all the time from the 2 of those. And I have this article. This has nothing to do with us. I just happened to find this article and clip it out. But there were some scientists up in Canada who did a flaxseed muffin test, and what they were doing is they gave one muffin a day to these women that had the early stages of breast cancer, and there was a predetermined concentration of the lignans inside each one of these muffins. Now, I actually know the doctor who was involved with this article and found out that the amount that they actually used in the muffin is equivalent to 1/10 of a teaspoon of our flax whole lignin that we've been studying. And so, what they said was that in this study, one flaxseed muffin contained the predetermined amount of lignans, and they consumed them for 30 days. Tissue biopsies were performed prior to and after the 30-day period. The results showed that the flaxseed lignans converted in the intestines by bacteria into powerful anti-cancer lignans were extremely efficient in low doses in killing the breast cancer cells in these volunteer women. And then this doctor goes on to say This study is critically important not only for breast cancer patients, but for all cancer patients, because lignans kill many kind of cancers, including the presently incurable melanoma. With the exception of palmitic acid, the common saturated fatty acid, specific foods do not normally have the ability to kill cancer cells. And we're just talking about one muffin a day,
Wow.
And so it's pretty powerful that doctors are talking like this.
That's right, and they're jumping on the bandwagon because of the power of this. This is an unstoppable power, this all-natural miracle that's coming out of the power of seed. And I'm so thankful to God for this opportunity to just be a part of this great miracle for mankind. And it's so simple. It's coming out of seed, but I want to make it clear. Could you make clear, Wendy, to the people, there's a difference between flax whole lignans and just regular flax. If we could just talk about that for a moment, because this is the miracle part of this, the difference between flax and lignans, and then we want to talk about the process. And all of the testing and trials that have been done, there's a certain process I think that we need to make sure people understand, so they just don't go out and grab a bunch of flax and start eating it, thinking that this is going to make all the difference.
Right, and this is a very important thing because the question I get over and over, and I know why, I would ask the same question. A lot of people like to grind their own flaxseed and consume it, and because you get lignans when you do that. However, what they found is that you do get some lignans, you just get a trace amount, though. You don't get enough to actually create the results like what the CD4 counts are raising, really high in your blood system. So 1 teaspoon of the concentrated flax whole lignans is the same as consuming 2 gallons of whole ground flaxseed.
1 teaspoon is the same as consuming 2 gallons. Well, I don't think we could consume 2 gallons of flax in a day. You'd have to be a horse.
I don't want to consume 2 gallons of flax a day. Exactly. So it is highly concentrated. And then, we don't, like AIDS Research and Assistance, we don't sell the flax lignans. We are not into that. We're just helping the people in the third world with, countries with it.
So you provide the lignans to the third world. You send the lignans to the third world.
We provide. We raise money and we donate it overseas into these orphanages and places we work with, but we don't sell it because there's lots of companies out there that actually sell it. You can just go online to Google and you can Google flax whole lignans. The one thing we like to tell people is just to be aware that there are different companies that extract different ways, and I only just caution you because we've got some extractions that are coming from China and just to other places where you're not sure of the controls.
And there's some that are, some of them are,
they do it chemically.
Chemically, instead of naturally.
Which is it's like apples and oranges because they're extracting it chemically, they're killing all the enzymes. So it's not considered a live food, which, like the lignans we've used, they're considered a live food because the enzymes are still intact and alive in the product. But these I kind of think of them as imposters because they're just extracting one lignan. There's one main lignan called SDG, but there's 17 entire lignans in the flax seed shell that we know of, and the scientists up in North Dakota say that it's the working and combining together of all of these lignans. Even some of them are trace, but they work together to really boost the immune system. So what you have is some companies who are just promoting the one lignan, the main lignan, and they just take that out. Plus, the whole thing is dead. There's nothing, no enzymes or anything. So you just have to be really careful. So there is a process that's called the MCP process. We know that if it's extracted with that process, that it's the same process that is used in the ones in the trials.
So that's MCP, like Mary, Charlie, Paul. MCP process.
Exactly.
And that guarantees then that you're getting lignans that came from this actual farmer who has the miracle process extraction. Is that right?
Right. You just know that you're getting the right stuff, and I just don't want anyone to get something that's chemical and completely different than what we've actually tested, because there have been some companies who have actually taken quotes from our website and put, that our tests and trials do this with the lignans, and they're selling lignans that are, completely different what we're promoting.
Right, right. Very, very important.
We just want people to get the right thing.
I see. So so if I Googled Flax, Hull, Hull, Lignans, and then I'm looking for MCP, I guess, or MCP process. If I've got that, then I know that I'm safe, that I'm dealing with the lignans that were actually tested in Africa and in the U.S., and then I know that I'm on the right page.
Right.
Very, very good. Well, Wendy, we're running running down on time. We've got a couple minutes left, but is there anything else that you'd like to point out before we have to end this program about the flax lignans, or a report, or anything that we could find out more about?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd like to point people to our website, because you can get a free report there. If you go to AIDS, HIV awareness.org, the first thing that will pop up is a place to put your email in, and we will email you a report that just has tons of this research that we're talking about. There's a lot of research also just on the website you can download. There's Karen Parker's video testimonials on there. There's a lot more information, and people can find that just by going to the website.
So that's AIDS-HIV-awareness.org, and I can get a free report. Now, I've looked at this report. It's got quotes from Mayo Clinic, National Cancer, FDA. There's reports coming in all over, and you've compiled it all into one free report then, right? Yeah, it's long. It's like a 10 or 12-page report, I believe. So it has a lot, but it has a lot of just research and quotes and things. There's things on diabetes, on cardiovascular research, cancer, osteoporosis, viruses. The main thing to remember about flax whole lignans is, and this is something that's in that report that the FDA actually said, is that flax lignans are antiviral, antibacterial, and antifungal. So any sickness that stems from those three things could possibly be affected by the flax lignans. That is amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to recommend to you that you get right out there to AIDS-HIV-awareness.org and get this free report. We all know people who are suffering and dealing with certain issues in their lives, sicknesses, diseases in their lives, and this flax whole lignan program really could be the thing to put them over the edge and change their lives. There are thousands and thousands of people who are on this product. It's readily available all over the world, and if you're interested in helping orphans in the third world, get out there and support AIDS-HIV-awareness.org. Dr. Daniel Daves here saying God bless you.